My dear people of Southern Cameroons, fellow Amazonians, brave warriors of our liberation movement, accept revolutionary greetings from me, Comrade John Akuro. Today is Saturday, July 24, 2021. I know at the time I'm recording this video, it's already Sunday, July 25 in the Southern Cameroons. My people, I'm coming here today for us to have a very fruitful and interesting conversation. Our discussion today will center around a few things that are happening in La République du Cameroon, our neighbors, these people who have determined that we shall know no peace, these people who have determined that we shall not be left alone to determine our own development priorities, these people who have determined that as long as they live, we shall continue to weep. My people, let me say this, that mourning endureth the night, and joy cometh in the morning. So we can cry all this moment, all this time that we are still in the trenches. But by the time we emerge from the trenches, it will be joy, 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 joy. And we have to set the basis for that joy, joy, joy at this particular point in time. My people, there are a lot of things going on the territory in the southern Cameroons. We can see for ourselves that by the day, the enemy, La République du Cameroon, are finding it more and more complicated, more and more difficult to lord it over our people. By our resilience, by our determination, and especially by the enduring spirit of the people on the territory in the southern Cameroons, in Ambazonia, we are proving to the world that we know that we will only stop when we get to Buea. That we know that despite all the distractions, our people know their shepherd. The sheep know their shepherd. And that is why all the manipulations put in place, all the schemes put in place to divide us, to bring confusion among us, both from within and from without, the schemes have failed. They have failed tremendously. On a daily basis, I will sit and some will send me audios or videos of them saying, oh, John Akuro and this or that group are, agents of La République and all of those things. I said, I don't respond to that. Lately, the last one I heard was that I was living in Switzerland already trying to negotiate federalism or whatsoever with Mr. Biya, and I laughed over it. I said, this same John Akuro, that some of the same authors of these audios and videos said did not support the Swiss dialogue. Today, suddenly, it is the same John Akuro who did not support the Swiss dialogue, who is suddenly in Switzerland to negotiate with Biya, and then those who are the architects of that so-called dialogue are not in Switzerland, and that's why they have to cry foul. Sometimes some of these people think that the people of Southern Cameroons are dunces, that we don't reason, that we don't understand. When you listen to some of them, each time they open their mouth, it's only to say this one or that one is an agent of La République du Cameroon. There is not a day that those people come to tell us exactly why we need to disengage any kind of arrangements we ever had with La République du Cameroon. By their words, by their actions, by the things that they do, we definitely know them. And I will tell you why these people are so important for La République du Cameroon, although they claim to be in our midst. The reason is simple. La République du Cameroon knows the only weapon they can use to succeed against us is divide and rule. Listen, I was on Afrique Media last week, Sunday, and I had the opportunity to remind them, because that is a sing-song from most of their panelists, that the people of what they call the Northwest and those of what they call the Southwest will never agree. Even if we went our way in independence, there will be total fighting and infernal fighting. I had the occasion to remind them that that is what they used to divide our parents. That is what they used to divide the so-called elite from the who are in their CPDM party. So they never agree. But unfortunately for them, this never against generation decided to sink those differences completely and to destroy that particular trump card. That is why they are sweating until this moment. Every day they keep going back to it. They are nostalgic about that particular approach, that particular policy, because it worked for 50 good years. Listen, Southern Cameroons was never broken into northwest, southwest. It didn't exist. We had, we had Kumba, we had Nkambe, we had Bamenda. These were centers. We had Manfi. These were centers. We had Nkambe. These were all centers around which the people of the Southern Cameroons gravitated. And so, when they decided to get into some nonsense called, got into this nonsense called the Federation, eventually they felt that the best way to handle us was to go along anthropological lines, break us into northwest, southwest, and make sure that they try to cause us to claim some attachment with people from some areas in La République du Cameroon and say anthropologically that's even how we belong. We don't even belong to each other. That's why they will tell you that those of what they call the Northwest, the grass field, that we are Bamileke people. We are Bamileke people, grass fielders are Bamileke people. That those in the Southwest, in the forest zone, are Sawa people. And so consequently, we didn't even have to belong together. So we have to be merged or submerged by these poles. And I listen to this and I laugh. And that's why further, they noticed that the people of the BLM in what they call the Southwest were people who were already so, were people who could think fast and think further. And so they now introduce again in the minds of the people of the so-called Southwest that these people of the BLM are Grafi people even. They don't even belong. It's just geography that caused us to bring them along with you. Listen, these cards failed since 2016. When in the consortium we put together every kind of argument necessary and went to the grassroots, all the nooks and crannies of Southern Cameroons are reignited in the people the Southern Cameroons nationalism and let them recall where we came from, how we found ourselves trapped where we are, and why we need to emerge from it. So La Republique du Cameroon cannot digest it, that this generation has decided to sink what has always been their trump card. They have tried and tried to reignite it. It has not worked. They have used even their internal forces. It has not worked. Now they are determined with some few loud voices to keep screaming this whole nonsense and trying to see how to get us ripped apart from within. My people, I will never come here to try and defend myself that I'm Mba'akuro or I'm not an agent of La République du Cameroon by my works, by my words, by the things that I do. You definitely know me. You know all those people whose names are called. And mind you, ask yourself, where is this noise coming from loudest? Of this one is La République, that one is not La République, and all of those things. Introducing divide and rule among ourselves as a way of consolidating power is again what is going to stand in our way of achieving our objective. We would have been further than we are now if we did not try to bring in that kind of internal divide and rule. Listen, my people, by day and by night, determined to select, pick and choose what you share. If you continue not to pick and choose what you share, you continue to push out divisive audios, push out divisive videos, push out divisive narratives, they wouldn't help us. Listen, my name is John. And whenever I talk, some people say I'm crying in the wilderness. I say, yeah, John the Baptist did. No worries. But he did his own. He played his role. I want to remind each and every single Southern Cameroonian that we will make it together. It is together that we will make it, not as individuals. No. Listen, we will make it together. And the best way to make it is, first of all, to begin by weeding out of our midst all those who only open their mouths to talk conspiracy theories, to talk negativism. Listen, this is too important. And you who are listening to me now, you who are watching me wherever you are, note it. You are an important player in this endeavor. When you sit in your room and push that audio, some of them are even made by my country people, them. Yeah, look, dear brothers and sisters of the Southern Cameroons, I followed even some of those audios chastising me for daring to go out there in Guzang to say that our brothers fighting each other must stop, must work together, must agree together how to operate among themselves for the sake of the civilian population and for the sake of our overall aspiration, which is that of independence. But when you see some people come out to chastise you for seeking peace, for seeking harmony, for seeking concord, for seeking cooperation, ask yourself what they stand to benefit if our brothers kill themselves. Ask yourself that question. What do they stand to benefit if we continue in this strife? Rather than facing the enemy, we are facing ourselves. What do they stand to benefit? We should be careful with just running behind power for the sake of power. My people, we have one objective. If your ambition is independence, then our only objective is checking La République du Cameroon out of our territory. Take this from me. But if your objective is not independence, then that is where we part ways. We must always remind ourselves of this sacrosanct truth. And that is why I will keep telling you, ignore the Biya drama. Stand together. Because there is drama coming ahead in La République du Cameroon this Sunday. Take a look at this. De ces Grand Mobilisation des étudiants demain matin, 6h30, pour l'esplanade, pour accueillir le chef de l'État, son Excellence Paul Biya. Respectons au regard des mesures barrières prioritaires au premier. Le président national, président du groupe de mobilisation. And you see, somebody comes and asks, lieu et prix, that's where are we meeting? And how much is the price? How much are you paying us to come out to go and receive Mr. Paul Biya? And you see, they say Cité U. Cité U, for those who don't know, is Cité Universitaire. That's what it stands for. And that is Ngoakele. For anybody who has gone to school in the University of Yaoundé and all whatnot, or even in Swahili, you all know what they call Cité U. That is Ngoakele. That is where they are going to meet. And each person will be doled out the sum of 2,500 francs to go and receive Paul Biya. Listen, why are they paying for this crowd? Why do they even need to receive Paul Biya in the first place? What trophy is he bringing back home? Did he go to Switzerland there to sit down and to negotiate with Ambazonia, and it has concluded that, okay, I've done this, I've done that, I've won over, and so it's supposed to receive him triumphantly? No, that's not the point. This is the reason. Take a look at this picture. This is the reason they have to spend millions upon millions, hundreds of millions. That is, if we will not even get to the billion, to organize a huge reception for Paul Biya in Yaoundé to counter this incident that happened before Intercontinental Hotel in Switzerland. My people, this is one huge reason why we should not have anything to do with that kind of country. A country built around a personality cult, a country built around one man. Everything turns around and gravitates on one man. Listen, after Paul Biya had vamoosed for a long time, and all kinds of things were done, stories and everything to smoke him out of his hiding, to come out and let his people see him that he's even alive, to come out and face the consequences of the issues he started in the southern Cameroons. When Biya comes out finally, the first thing he does is goes abroad. And now, when he goes abroad and faces this kind of serious humiliation, that is, Swiss television channels, radio stations were inundated with stories of how one autocratic president in Africa was in the country and places were getting bad. People were in very disagreeable condition. And the debate resurfaced even of whether he should even have been allowed into the country. Biya needed to think of something. His people needed to think of something to do to try to, rebuild his image and try and rebrand him. That is why, of their own volition, they floated out a story. They sent people who usually inform activists about things happening and pretended to let the people think it was the right and authentic information. One, with the objective one, to discredit those activists and to discredit any form of truth that people will ever believe in when it comes out on social media. And number two, to give an opportunity to say, oh, they said that Biya is in a coma. Biya is almost dead. He's suffering from the Parkinson's disease. But yeah, this is poor Biya, strong man. So they always try to look for those things to try and see how they can impress, how they can reinvigorate the image of a checkered demagogue. These are not the things that should bother the people of the Southern Cameroons. That is why I say ignore the Biya drama. Listen, my people. I want to congratulate the people of the Southern Cameroons, those on ground zero, from Manfre through Bali, Ekondo Titi, Kumba, Buea, Nguti, for the wonderful job that we are doing on the ground, staying in our houses on ghost town days, making sure we distance ourselves from these thugs in uniforms calling themselves security operatives coming to protect us, and making sure we don't fall prey to some of the things that they're trying to do to derail our movement. This is an incredible job. An incredible job. Listen, my people, by our works, by our attitude, by our resilience, we have sent a noisemaker called Atanga Ponji back into the cave. We have pushed Atanga Ponji into silence by our works. He screamed in Bamenda that Mr. Pobia was claiming victory and said the voices in the bushes were already emerging. Today, he is quiet. He can't even cough. He has been reduced to silence because he thought, along with others, that he could play with the minds, feelings, and aspirations of our people. Today, they are trying to direct their attention and their wrath on the church. My people, we have to stand strong and continue to do just the things that we are doing, because we need to take back our country, build a solid country based on institutions, strong institutions, and not strong men, strong institutions and not strong men and women. A society that will be regulated by institutions like some of the societies in which we live. My people, a society where they will talk about us every day, not for the bad things that happen in our country, but for the huge discoveries that will be taking place. Southern Cameroonians are wonderful all over the world. Intelligent, smart people who are creating, who are inventing things. We need to go back home. We need to go back home and make our home blossom and make our forebears proud that they left the Nigerian parliament at Enugu and came back home in Buea in 1954 and founded our country. My people, let us stay focused. Let us learn to talk the language of collaboration and cooperation, to talk the language of appeasement. Let us learn, my people, to compromise with one another even when we do disagree, mainly to remain focused on the objective. See, I like to congratulate our people in Balinyunga. And I want to doff my heart to my brother and friend, Don Dinga. You are doing a wonderful job. Look at this showdown in Balinyunga tells you a great story. Do not think that it is just because these Amber boys are too tough, are too wonderful. No. It is because the people know what they want. It is because the people understand what this fight, what this struggle is all about. It is because the people understand that the only way we win is working together, is promoting the all for one and one for all. That is why a lot of these drivers have decided not to be headstrong, even all of them, by making sure they don't use the road between Bamenda and Batibo passing through Bali. As long as the colonial administration will determine that commercial motorbike riders will not ply their trade. This is what you call solidarity. It is not because it was called by some grandpa. No. It is because of who this grandpa is, what he represents. Grandpa is the son of Balinyonga. Grandpa is an actor in the southern Cameroon struggle for freedom. Grandpa is an actor in our independence quest. Because Grandpa spoke in the right direction, calling on the people to show solidarity with their sons and daughters who are being, victimized for no good reason by an oppressor. The people say, yeah, and they follow. This is what solidarity means. This, to my understanding, is how we win. Can we copy the Bali example? The oneness. This will take us across the bar the fastest possible. Look, my people, there is a video circulating on social media. This video is purported to be in dub. Take a watch at it. Listen, some people say this incident happened in Dub. Others have demonstrated that it appears it happened in Nigeria. There's a video on YouTube showing that this happened somewhere in Biafran land, and the Nigerian military is disowning this video. But I want to say something about this video. I don't care whether it happened in Dub or it happened wherever. We have seen this happen on our land. So for that reason, I may even decide not to fall into that trap or get into that debate. Listen, we saw this talks from Mr. Paul Biya in Buea. Take out corn, take out food crop from all mothers' barns, put them outside and burn them. We saw them do that everywhere. We saw them butcher maize farms in Noni. We have seen them do this in Momo. We have seen them do this in Menchum. They have done it everywhere. So this is not so shocking. It is not strange. The only reason this video could make people talk a lot is that at least some people in such uniform have been captured doing this act. But it is not a strange thing that has not been done on our territory. Let me ask you this. When you even open a debate on this, it makes me laugh. I've asked this question. I would have wanted to hear Mr. Paul Mingo Gogomo, who comes from Gwakotunja, to be the first to rise and say, no. It's not true. This thing did not happen in Dub. If it is true that it didn't happen in Dub. But it has happened in Bambalang, his hometown, his village. It happened there. They have rounded up young men, rounded up, businesses and burned them. We have seen them do it. They have raised down villages, whole villages. What is this con? Raised down whole villages, raised people even inside their homes. What is this con? But these people have never talked. They have never been moved to action. Their sentiments, their feelings have never been touched. No. My people, each time you see this video, don't even bother to ask whether it was in Dub or was not in Dub. Let it simply remind you. Let it remind us of the carnage that we are facing. Let it remind us of the sufferings that we are going through. If Mr. Paul Biya's talks were not used to doing this kind of acts. Nobody will even think about them. They sent them in the name of them coming to protect us, but they have done things worse than this. Ngabu is 1,000,000 times what I see on this video. Kejom, 1,000 times what I see on this video. What they did in the villages in Mancon to come back and say later, that was about around my age, to come back and say later that was due to misinformation, worse than this video. My people. What they have done to Médecins Sans Frontières, asking them to pack out when the people are so needed on the ground to give assistance to the people they brutalize every day, worse than this video. What they did to the medical doctor at the Catholic institution in Bali and the nurse, whom until today no one even knows where they are, worse than this video. And what have the so-called, the self-proclaimed elite said? What have they said? Are they talking? This is why often I share the thoughts captured by Harriet Tubman, when she said, I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves. Listen, this is deep, really deep. I've told our people 1,000,000 times that this guys and ladies who call themselves CBDM elite and all whatnot out there, either some of them are already aware and know it very clearly that they are slaves, but have decided that it is better to live in slavery in La République du Cameroun than take the risk to look for freedom, or some of them don't even recognize, don't even know that they are slaves. That is why no matter what is done to their people, they cannot talk. They are not allowed to make a mention. They can't even come out to condemn. Because if they do, they will be dealt with squarely. That's why I tell our people often that there are even more prisoners than those prisoners of war who are in Kondengi and other institutions, in New Bell and in other places, in other prisons around, both in La République du Cameroon and in southern Cameroon. Listen, some of them are not aware that they're in a worse prison. Because even when they torture and maim their people, they bring them to come and be the ones to enunciate the denial. That is the worst form of slavery. That is the worst form of imprisonment. And now, this. Prominent Francophone MP urges government to rethink military options. Say, as killing of soldiers is on the rise in the northwest, southwest, prominent Francophone MP urges government to rethink military options. Why are they rethinking? Why are they talking of this rethink now? Why are they worried now? Why are they bothered now? I think the answer is in that article. This Francophone MP is a patriot for his country. He is worried about their soldiers, worried about Mr. Biya's talks who are falling by the day. He's worried and wants their lives to be saved. He wants to rescue them. He is talking. He is a patriot. What of those so-called elites from southern Cameroons? Have you ever seen any of them come out to express such worry about their people, their mothers, grandmothers, their wives, their sisters, their brothers, their nephews and nieces being crushed on a daily basis? Have they ever said something? Can any of them muster the courage to stand out there and say it in this kind of way that rethink this? They can't. They can't. The only thing they can come and talk is going to bury the bereaved or help the family to bury the bereaved, or come to talk to us about the voices in the bushes and all of those things. That is all they can talk about. All they can talk about is fake bravado. My people, it is more than time for us to continue to understand that, first of all, we have to count on ourselves to attain our objective. And the only way to count on ourselves is to make sure we don't give the opportunity to those who only thrive when they divide us to continue to divide us. Listen, Mr. Paul Biya will be involved in this drama this Sunday in La République. That is not our business. These are the pictures that should come to our minds when they are staging that kind of fake drama. Look at this picture. This is the golden age of southern Cameroons. Whenever our people saw those guys in this uniform, they ran towards them for protection. They ran towards them for direction. They ran towards them to express joy and togetherness, because they were people who were noble, who understood the role of the police, who understood the role of maintaining law and order, who understood that they were there first and foremost for the people. That's why, just look at their attire. They look, almost angelic in this attire. That's not what we see today. These images should come to our minds each time they're staging drama on the other side. Each time we want to feel some degree of despair. Each time someone wants to provoke us to the point where we'll start asking ourselves, do I need to continue being in this struggle? Remind yourselves of what is at stake. Remind yourselves of what we lost, what we stand to gain, and how generations upon generations of Southern Cameroonians will benefit from our actions today. My people, the best thing that we can give each other, that we can contribute in this movement, is not just the money we remove and dole out there to support our people in refugee camps, to support our people in prisons, to strengthen our people on ground zero. No, it is also the message that will continue to pass across, one of togetherness, one of unity, one of collaboration, and one of fighting manipulation and negative energy. In this way, we definitely are going to score the victory we all so desire. My people, let us continue to bond together. We will get there. Our victory is certain. It is only a matter of time, but we will definitely get there. To God be all the glory.